This is how to crochet a sunflower square. I came up with this one myself last night and I'm so excited to share it with you. But to start, I have 5 chains and I'm going to make a ring out of those 5 chains by slip stitching into the first, and then that hole you see there in the center, that's what we're working into. I'm going to chain 2 and then I'm going to add 12 double crochet into that center, and I'm not counting the chain 2 there as a stitch. This is going to be the quick version. I'll do the extended version afterwards for those who want to see the rows worked in their entirety. At the end of the 12th double crochet, I'm going to slip stitch on top of the first double crochet, not on top of the chain 2, and then I'm going to pick up my second color, chain 2 again, and then I'm going to add puff stitches into every single stitch around, and they're going to be separated by 2 chains. For this, I'm going to yarn over, insert my hook, and pull up a loop 5 times before I yarn over and pull through all the loops on my hook. This is the thicker version of a puff stitch. You can also just do 3, but I prefer 5. It looks nicer. One tip for puff stitches is to pinch the bottom of your loops and then push the hook up so that when you yarn over and pull the yarn through all the loops, the hook doesn't get stuck on any of the many loops. So here I'm going to chain 2, add the rest of my puff stitches, and then I'm going to slip stitch to the top of that first puff stitch, pick up my new color, and chain 3. Now for this round, I'm going to add a cluster of 5 treble crochet into the same space. So this time I'm working in between the puff stitches, or those chain spaces, and I'm going to yarn over twice, insert my hook into the stitch, yarn over and pull up a loop, and then yarn over and pull through 2 twice, and then I'm going to do that 4 more times before I yarn over and pull through all 5 loops on my hook. And that's going to give me a nice little flower petal. And then in between each of those treble crochet clusters, I'm going to chain 3 so that our circle stays flat and doesn't start to curl in. And I'm going to repeat that treble crochet cluster in between each puff stitch in that little chain space all the way around. I should have 12 puff stitches and then 12 clusters or flower petals at the end of every row. And I don't like how that last one looked, so I'm going to redo it. And then we'll move on to turning the circle into a square. And yes, I'm a tiny bit of a perfectionist, if you can't tell. Even while making this, I am thinking of ways that I can still improve it. This is still a very preliminary little design, but I'm really excited about it, so I wanted to share it. And then this is where we chain 2 more and go all the way around, and then slip stitch on the top of the cluster, and then with the new color I'm going to slip stitch into the first gap, then I'm going to chain 3, and I'm not going to count it as a stitch. I'm going to add, there, I need to yarn over twice. I'm going to add 4 treble crochet into that one gap, and then I'm going to chain 1 and add 4 more treble crochet into the same gap, and that'll be my first corner piece. If you're familiar with granny squares, corner pieces usually have a set of 3 or 4 stitches separated by 1 to 2 chains, and then side pieces are just the 3 or 4 stitches with 1 chain or no chains in between. So for the corner piece, it's going to be 4 treble crochet and 1 chain, and then 4 more treble crochet, and then for the side pieces, it's going to be 4 double crochet into the next 2 gaps, and they're going to be separated by 1 chain. And again, if this is confusing to you, I am going to have an extended version of it, just like I do for all my other tutorials. But I know that not everyone is at a beginner level and might appreciate a quick version, or a quick refresher if you don't want to watch all of it. But here I'm adding the 4 double crochet, and then I'm going to repeat that all the way around with corners and 2 side pieces, and then that's it.